Thank you, TAC, for sponsoring this day in the life.
Oh my god, I just fumbled big time. I was supposed to wake up hours ago and oh my god, I may have accidentally stopped my iPhone alarm. And yeah, now I've overslept and it's almost noon, so that sucks. Don't mind the dead plans, but I swear I set an alarm on my Sonos as backup, but it didn't ring this morning. But whatever. I need a new game plan for today, and instead of doing my usual morning routine, which I've done a million times in my past day in lives, I think I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and get some work done first, because I have some deadlines and some stuff to bang out, so yes. Alright, we finally made it to the coffee shop, and you guys already know this, but today we're doing a day in life with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which I should have done a long time ago because it's been like 2 months since I've used this like on and off, and yeah, this is really overdue. But as usual, we're gonna test like the battery life, we're gonna test the cameras, we're gonna test all the new upgrades from the 16 Pro Max over last year's 15 Pro Max. We're gonna test some of the Apple Intelligence features because the update just dropped and I got a few of those features, which should be cool. And yeah, it's just gonna be a chaotic and busy day in the life of me as a university student in engineering and as a content creator. And yeah, we have like what, 5 to 6 hours before my badminton game tonight, so I gotta get everything that I need to get done now. So let's go in. Oh my god, guys, it is 2:30 and I have no idea how the hours that I spent in there just flew by like crazy. Like at the end, I was so locked in that I just lost track of time completely. But yeah, I gotta go do my other errands that I planned for today because time is running short. And just by the way, I was hotspotting my Samsung laptop the entire time on a 5G network. And after over 2 hours, it's only at 90%. So hey, that's absolutely crazy because with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, it would have lost at least like a quarter of the battery life. So hey, it's been improved, so that's good. Also, I was supposed to talk about the Apple Intelligence features while I was inside the coffee shop, but there were more and more people and it was getting kind of awkward. So we're gonna talk about it here. And yeah, the latest update that came out just like last week, I think, included the new Apple Intelligence beta, which you actually have to join the waitlist for, but you get into that pretty quickly. So make sure to enable that in the settings if you haven't already. To start off, I think the most significant change for me is the notification summaries because as someone who gets a lot of notifications on my phone, it's actually really useful. And for example, if I check this messenger chat over here, there are 23 messages, and just being able to read about like dinner plans for tonight, which I don't think I can make, it's actually really useful. And also just like if I have like news articles or like emails and stuff like that, it's just super duper useful and saves me a lot of time instead of scrolling through each notification, because the notifications on the iPhone are just terrible in my opinion compared to Android. There are also supposed to be like AI generated text responses, and I've only seen that ever work like once or twice because on a lot of chats, even in iMessage right now, it just doesn't show up at all, so not sure what's going on there. Also, side note, before we leave, I can't believe I caught this on camera, but look at this. We're at 166,666 kilometers. Obviously, I didn't own this car the full time, but yeah, look at that, damn. actually one of the most scuffed up vlogs I've done in recent history. Just like, it feels like I'm racing against time, and the production quality on this is gonna be really bad. There's gonna be no cinematics and stuff like that, which if you want, you can check out my other older vlogs, so let me off on this one. But yeah, moral of the story is if you do wake up late, or you feel like you've wasted the earlier part of the day, there's still time. You can bounce back and finish the rest of your day off strong. Alright, just got out of the only mall in this small city of Kingston, and the reason why I had to do that is because I had a couple of checks that I needed to deposit at my bank, and because I'm in Canada, I earn in USD, so I can't do that through a mobile deposit. But anyways, before we go home, I want to talk about differences between the 15 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max, specifically in terms of, day-to-day usage, because, oh my god, last year, I had so many problems with that phone, in which I just made like a long-term review in the summer, which you can check out over here. But long story short, the biggest issue was battery life for sure, because the battery life on the 15 Pro Max was atrocious. Like, I would have to charge it multiple times throughout the day. It just wouldn't last at all. And I'm happy to say the 16 Pro Max has been an incredible improvement, like at least double, I swear. Like, it's such a big difference that I think upgrading from the 15 Pro Max to the 16 is worth it just because of that. I also had a lot of like bugs and issues with the phone for some reason, and honestly, that's just been iOS over the past few years. But I can say that there's been less on a 16 Pro Max, which is good, because the 15 used to freeze a lot and stuff, which wasn't fun. Also, Wi-Fi and signal reception, like data and cellular, absolutely suck on the 15 Pro Max, and just iPhones in general. Like, I've always had issues with it. For some reason, like, the data is just spotty. Like, I'm on a 5G network with Rogers, which is like the biggest carrier in Canada, well, one of the biggest, and same issues. Just the signal reception is worse than Android phones. And Wi-Fi, honestly, I would say it's been a little bit better, because I don't know, at home the 15 Pro Max just doesn't connect well to my Wi-Fi, which doesn't happen on any other device, and the 16 Pro Max, it's been hit or miss, so I can say it's been improved a little bit in that area. But yeah, let's go home and talk more about the 16 Pro Max. Alright, I quickly made some lunch. I just like pan-seared some salmon and then topped it off with some gochujang compound butter that I made earlier, which was inspired from the Netflix show Culinary Class Wars, and it's the best cooking show I've ever watched, so you guys gotta watch that. And yeah, food is my passion, and I was supposed to make some sort of fancy meal. I was gonna make like some nice risotto, like mushroom risotto with some salmon and stuff like that, but I ran out of time. But anyways, let's talk about the hardware on the 16 Pro Max before it gets too dark, because man, it's like almost 4, and like the sun is already almost down. It's crazy. While it's still 19 degrees outside in November. I don't know what's going on with the weather these days. But anyways, before I keep rambling on about food, let's talk about the actual phone itself, because I just realized I forgot to talk about that. But yeah, the biggest difference between this and the 15 Pro Max is that this is slightly bigger, because the display went from 6.7 to 6.9 inches. And although that does seem small on paper, it's actually quite a noticeable difference, because the phone is physically larger, a little bit heavier, and the display just, I don't know, it tricks my mind into thinking it's so much bigger when compared to the 15 Pro Max for some reason, especially with the beautiful thin bezels that are just amazing to look at, which I really, really love. Also, these are titanium. At first, when I got this phone, it was like this weird pinkish gold that wasn't really yellow enough or pink enough, so I didn't know if I really liked it or not, and a lot of people didn't like it, but it actually grew on me a lot, and I really, really like the color. And yeah, there's also the camera shutter button, which I will talk about later in the video, because I have a lot of strong opinions on that. But yeah, it's just a gigantic phone that is quite chunky to hold.
But speaking of chonky, there is one way to fix that, and that's with these super slim cases from the sponsor of this video, TAC. The one you've been seeing all day in the video is their standard case 4.0, and it's available in two colors, Arctic Frost and Granite Frost. I'm using the Arctic Frost to match the Desert Titanium of this phone, and man, it's such a joy to hold the phone of such a slim case, both because it's so much easier on the hands and because you get to enjoy an almost naked experience of the case. The case being so thin also makes buttons extra clicky, and most importantly, makes the camera shutter button so much easier to press as there's no big divot that gets in the way. And if you're worried about this case cracking too easily or being too fragile, the PC plastic they use actually feels solid and gives me confidence when I put it on and off, and I especially love the matte finish on it, which means goodbye to fingerprints. But deep down, I know a lot of you guys love aramid fiber cases, and I do too, so TAC's Pro Case 2.0 is perfect for that and so elegant. The soft yet grippy texture is just so pleasant to use, the case is even lighter and slimmer than the plastic one, and I love how it fully protects the camera bump from scratches, and if you're into this aesthetic, you can't go wrong with this case. And also, just a note, these cases are so thin that MagSafe works through them, but if you want some extra magnet strength, their Magnet Plus magnet is insanely strong, it's shocking, while being super thin so it doesn't stick out the back of the case. Okay, but the sleeper hit is actually their new matte screen protector, because no cap, it is the best screen protector I've ever used in my life. I was so skeptical about it because usually matte screen protectors ruin the display quality by making it hazy, but somehow not this one at all, even at different viewing angles. Its ability to cut down reflections and fingerprints is just amazing, and the texture feels so silky smooth, it enhances the phone experience so much. Like seriously, don't knock it until you try it, it's that good. But anyways, I gotta run so I'm not late to the rest of my stuff, but make sure to check out the product links down below in the description and the pinned comment, and thank you so much again to the team at TAC for sponsoring this day in the life. Alright, I had to make a quick trip into the engineering building right now because for my final year project or capstone project, me and my group members were actually building like a security robot type of thing that kind of patrols the hallways of this specific building. So I'm just gonna like basically measure out a rough floor plan of the third floor where the robot is supposed to monitor, and you know, it's just a rough draft, so I don't need to use like crazy fancy measurements. So using the LiDAR sensor on the iPhone is actually really useful because I find that the Measure app is actually quite decent in terms of accuracy, and it just basically gives me an easy floor plan that I can just quickly jot up on my phone notes app, and then I'll quickly put that over to the iPad and make a more detailed version. So yeah, LiDAR sensor, kind of useful actually. However, I still really do hope that more developers put the LiDAR sensor into more use because, you know, back then when LiDAR first came out, people were like, oh, there's gonna be like AR games and all that stuff, but honestly, I haven't really seen much development in terms of using the LiDAR for apps and stuff, other than like maybe the IKEA app, which I really like because it gives me like an easy like way to see how the furniture looks in my apartment and stuff like that when I was building out my living room. But other than that, I don't really see anything. And because of all this AI and stuff, one thing that I think will be really useful is if I can point like my phone at a space in my apartment and just have it like use the AI to basically like design my room for me, give me some stuff like that. That would be really cool. Maybe there's an app like that already. But yeah, that's like on my wish list for what the LiDAR sensor could do on this phone. But yeah, oh my god, this time's almost up. I gotta run. And oh my god, it is just past 5 right now, and look, it's literally pitch black outside. I had originally planned this section to, you know, go to the UPS store and pick up some of my packages, and then basically take you guys on like a photography tour to test out all the new camera features, like, you know, like the new photographic styles and the new ultra wide and stuff. But I don't think it's possible anymore. So I think executive decision. Oh my god, I have never done this, but I think I'm gonna jump over to tomorrow where I can do that during the day and like properly test the cameras for you guys downtown. And it really pained me to do this because I always do my day in lives in one take on the same day. I don't cheat, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna have to do that, which I'm really sorry about. But yeah, let's jump to tomorrow where I properly test out the cameras during the day. Hello, this is Fenton from the future, and let's talk about that controversial camera shutter button because it is quite disappointing. And I'm actually going to use some clips from my impressions video because my opinion on it after using it for a couple months has not changed at all. Basically, what it does is that it can click down like a real button, but also click down using haptics on a lighter click. It can launch the camera from any screen with just a hard press, but you know what else can do that? The action button. It also acts as a shutter button as well, but it's in such like an awkward position where it's too low when the phone is in the vertical position, but it's too far into the phone when the phone is horizontal. I don't really know how Apple is supposed to please anyone here though, because I don't know, it's just a weird position to put it to. I also get the argument that it's convenient when you flip the phone around to take selfies or vlog videos with the rear camera, but you know, I can also do that with the volume buttons. And then all the camera controls they showed off by sliding and pressing the button is kind of useless too because it's so slow and finicky to use. Not to mention, it's kind of easier to just, you know, tap the screen for things like zooming in and out. So yeah, don't really see any reason for this camera shutter button to exist, and it is just 100% a gimmick. But now let's talk about some of the new camera hardware that we have on this camera. There's a new ultra-wide sensor which is supposed to be much better, but I've been comparing it to the 15 Pro Max directly, and I kind of struggle to see much of a difference. You'd think there'd be a lot more detail when you zoom into the shot, but it's nearly the same, and the Pixel easily trumps these phones in terms of detail when you pixel peep. And regardless of what type of lighting scenario I use them in, the only difference is the lifted shadows on the 16 Pro Max thanks to the new processing. But that just introduces more noise, and I actually kind of prefer the contrast on the 15 series. Same thing for video. They basically have the same amount of detail, so yeah, I have no idea. The main sensor is an underrated upgrade though, because I can clearly see the improvement in detail, especially when you use a 2x optical like zoom, where you can actually see a big difference. A lot of reviews are right though when they say they don't like the processing this year, and I'm actually on the same boat because everything looks so flat with the lifted shadows. But that's where photographic styles come in. There aren't actually like filters at all and are actually integrated into the image processing pipeline, so you don't lose any quality. And I actually love the fact that you're able to customize each of them to your own liking too. For me, for example, I prefer bright, warm, and contrasty photos, so I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun fine-tuning my own presets, and as a Fuji fanboy, this is a dream come true. Alright, sorry for this little time travel break in the middle of the vlog, but let's get back to it and play some badminton. There's no night lights, whatever. Before we start playing, I just wanted to show you guys a battery level before I filmed for 2 hours straight, and also my favorite app on the iPhone, which is called Kino, and I've been using it to shoot the entire montage up to this point. I love the fact that you can shoot in log without the crazy file sizes of ProRes 422, and the fact that they're built-in LUTs or you can add your own, and that you can instantly grade them at the time you're filming is insanely useful. New on this year's iPhone is also 4K 120, which only works in the main sensor unfortunately, but here are the settings you can choose from in the gallery and how you can edit them. And finally, this is an example of what the footage looks like, which is pretty cool.
took a deal, signed another deal. Post up in the hills, on the real, headed for a mill. Travel with me still, gang kills, all this pop appeal. Got these pop stars, try popping in, and they getting pop for real. I ain't tryna build, I was tryna lead a mill. Getting to it, before I hopped up the block, I was still going through it. Friends doing pills, and came faster than it should've. I was Buddy Hill, shooting at a pace soon as I pull up, dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. In the kitchen chopping onions. Yeah, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Hey, yeah, like it's nothing. Hey, earn my respect and burn a budget. Tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, yeah, I'm dropping buckets. Got some cash for me, don't worry about my past for me. I'm driving with no gasoline, it's life, I live some fantasy. Yeah, I do this for my dogs, all my day ones and my family. My life gon' live through them if I end up in any tragedies. I hope y'all understand this shit got bigger cause it had to be. I always knew I had it, but just not at this capacity. I recognize the gravity, closer to the summit, stacking chips and counting nuggets. I've been stunting, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets. Yeah, like it's nothing. Ayy, in the kitchen chopping onions. Ayy, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Ayy, yeah, like it's nothing. Ayy, earn my respect and burn a budget. Ayy, tears falling down. Underdog is finally overcoming, baby. Cause I'm dropping buckets. Earn my respect and burn a budget. Tears falling down, underdog is finally overcoming, baby, cause I'm dropping buckets.
Alright, badminton night complete, which is super duper fun as always, and I usually play around 2 to 3 times a week in different locations, and also do basketball as well, so staying fit is definitely important. But before we go, I forgot to mention there's a new audio mix feature on the 16 Pro Max series this year, the 16 Pro series, and there's a couple of options including in-frame, studio, and cinematic mode. So I'm going to be switching them on and off in different modes in this video and let you guys know how it sounds. Let me know how it sounds down below. But yeah, we're starving, so let's get ready to go for dinner.
Also, totally forgot to do a battery life check, but it is sitting at 23% right now, and that's after 2.5 hours of 4K recording continuously, which is absolutely amazing considering it was at 62% before we started playing. So, man, this iPhone battery life is a champ.
While we're enjoying our dinner, I just want to talk about the gaming performance on the iPhone because in all seriousness, it's one of the best and smoothest experiences you'll enjoy on any phone because of how cool this chip runs, especially after extended periods of time, and just the graphic capabilities of this chip, which is just absolutely crazy. So yeah, top-notch gaming experience with the iPhone.
2 hours later.
Now that is the definition of clutch. Oh my god, that was actually so close though. After we ate, I had to like rush home and like I just dropped everything. I was like, this day in life, the vlog. I gotta get on my laptop and bang out the rest of the report with my group because this was a big like blueprint deadline that we had to submit and it was worth a lot of marks. So We got it in 1 minute before the deadline. That is the life of an engineer, and let me know if you can relate down below. Alright, but in all seriousness, this vlog was so scuffed up. This was chaotic and just so rushed, and I'm so sorry. This is definitely not up to my standards in terms of production, and if you guys stayed all the way till the end, thank you so much for watching because I really appreciate it. Also, final battery check update, it is at 1%, which means this phone is an absolute beast considering that we were hotspotting for a couple hours and we were shooting badminton videos for so long. So yeah, it was all on a 5G network too. So man, this phone, absolute beast. And yeah, honestly, just because of that one reason alone, the battery life, it is worth the upgrade from the 15 Pro Max if you can get a good trade-in deal, or worth buying over the 15 Pro Max even if that's discounted. And especially if you're coming back from an old iPhone, the difference is going to be absolutely massive. It's just in terms of battery life, the hardware, and the cameras are honestly amazing as usual, and the ultra wide is definitely a good upgrade, so I love that. Other than that, the gimmick, the shutter button, absolute gimmick, absolutely useless. Apple Intelligence, it isn't even fully featured or out yet, all those false promises that Apple gives, and it's just an iPhone. I still prefer the Pixel 9 Pro, which I think is the phone of the year for sure, and I also like the Z Fold 6, the S24 Ultra, and all that stuff better because I just like Android and how it works better. But I am stuck because of the Apple ecosystem, so I'm locked in, but I still carry an Android phone beside me as my second phone. So yeah, it is just an iPhone, and for people who are looking to buy an iPhone, they're still gonna buy it. So yes, it's a good phone. It's a worthy upgrade just because of the battery life. So yeah. Anyways, I have an 8:30 lab that I need to prepare for tomorrow, and then I got a bunch of videos and just a bunch of stuff to do. So I'm gonna end the vlog over here, and once again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you guys still enjoyed this chaotic, just run and gun type of vlog. So yeah, also I'm gonna be doing like a long-term, 3-month review of the iPhone 16 Pro Max later in December, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And as always, make sure to leave a sunglasses emoji so I know you guys are a real one, and also smash that like and subscribe button down below. But yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.